Chain smoke your problems away. Smokepit Fairy Tales Part 4, Chapter 23. Let's get fucked up and die. Sunday afternoon crept its way to the calendar. Thatch waited outside the terminal for his ride. Stockton pulled up in her truck and Thatch jumped in.
How'd it go?
Stockton asked as she pulled out onto the highway.
Most of it was all right. I didn't really do too much besides hang out with my mom.
Fun.
Cassandra kept driving. Thatch rolled down his window and lit a smoke.
And then I got in this fight with Samum.
God, I hate that fucking bitch. Remember when she was on duty and you made her that steak and potatoes and brought it to her at the duty hut? And she ignored the fuck out of you and talked to that other random asshole that was there, even though she was freezing in her chucks and you let her borrow your tinker jacket?
Yeah, I remember that.
Then a couple of days ago, I'm coming back from leave and I see her and Gemery dress up heading out into town. They were talking about getting fajitas, and then she made some joke and he picked her up and she giggled her ass off as he carried her all the way to the car.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Thatch spat, jerking forward.
Oh yeah, she's as unscrupulous as she is insufferable.
Stockton tightened her grip around the steering wheel.
But what was your fight about this time?
She called me asking who my girlfriend was.
Dude,
Stockton punched the wheel.
stop talking to that cunt. Now she's just making shit up to fuck with you.
Thatch wasn't at all happy, but a laugh forced itself up.
She told me that you told her that.
No, the fuck I did not.
Stockton glared at Thatch. Thatch shrugged through the cigarette smoke.
Dude,
She was almost too angry to drive.
fuck it. Tell her I'm your girlfriend. I'll fucking play along with it.
I don't think that'd fly.
No, she doesn't know my first name. Change my name in your phone to Cassandra, and we can get back at her.
I don't know about all that, man.
Thatch, it's either that, or I'm gonna strap you to your rack and fuck you until she's out of your system and you block that bitch's phone number.
They pulled into the barracks parking garage and Stockton turned off the engine. Thatch tightened up his jacket. The air was nippy and the wind spread dustings of snow over the concrete facilities and red sand.
Thanks for the ride, Stockton.
No problem, man.
They started walking towards the barracks.
Have you told her you're deploying soon?
No, I don't know if I will. I might just leave without letting her fucking know.
Thatch got back to his room, dropped his pack, and lay in his bed. He stared at the backs of his eyelids and tried to decompress a bit until he was interrupted by a knock on his door.
It's open.
Samum pushed in the door. She was wearing a white crop top and a long blue and white striped skirt that flowed like water over her legs. She waltzed over to Thatch and seated herself on his lap with her legs wrapped around his hips.
Well, hello.
Thatch opened his eyes.
How was leave?
Samum entwined her fingers with his and held them back to the bed.
That's good. I just hung out and spent time with Ma.
Samum smiled at Thatch. She bent down and rested her head on Thatch's shoulder, letting her hair stream down his back.
What's her name?
Mama? Lovis?
No. Her.
Thatch rolled his eyes and let the contempt build. He figured that Samum didn't know that Thatch was wise to the llama and Gemery situation. Maybe making Samum jealous would play out in his favor.
No.
Samum pulled her head up, keeping Thatch's hands pinned to the bed. She dragged her lips across Thatch's.
What's her name?
No.
Thatch didn't want to tell her that there wasn't another woman. Hell, he wished that Samum was a side chick. That would make it easier to walk away from her. Samum started grinding the bottom of her panties on Thatch's groin. She slid back and forth until she felt Thatch grow erect.
What's her name?
Fuck it. Maybe if she thinks there's competition, she'll try harder to keep me around. Cassandra.
Where's she from?
Nowhere.
Where does she live?
Samum continued to grind.
It doesn't matter.
What does she look like?
No.
Thatch pulled his hands free and stopped Samum's hips from gyrating.
Who told you that?
Stockton.
No, the fuck she didn't.
Samum jiggled her butt on his lap and kept smiling.
Okay. Gemery.
That fucking motherfucker.
Thatch's glare turned to hatred. Samum smiled down at him. Her hair fell and spread across Thatch's head, leaving the two of them inside a tunnel of curly brown locks.
I'm not mad at you, Thatch.
Thatch took a deep breath, thinking,
Well, I'm fucking mad at you, bitch.
but said nothing. Samum kissed him again.
Did you tell me you cared about me because you wanted something out of me?
No, Samum.
Thatch used her name as a cuss word.
I told you I care about you because I care about you. I'm not just using you for your body. I don't need sex to validate a relationship, although I do have this misguided idea that if we sleep together more, we'll be more attached to each other and you'll want to be around more.
That's not how it works.
Yes, it does, bitch.
Thatch stayed quiet. Samum leaned over him and squeezed his neck in a hug.
But I have to go. Misha's having a crisis with her fish.
Okay.
Thatch broke down his defenses.
Well, what are you doing tonight?
I have a unit function, so I'll be busy working tonight.
On a Sunday?
Yep.
Samum jumped off him and disappeared without saying goodbye. Thatch was left frustrated and vexed. He got up and went to the courtyard to smoke. Stockton was out there leaning on a grill with a beanie and a puffy green jacket.
Long time no see.
Dude.
What happened now?
Thatch put a cigarette in his mouth.
I'm not home for 5 fucking minutes and she comes over trying to get shit from me.
What'd she do?
She fucking sits on my lap and rubs her pussy on me, trying to get me to tell her who my girlfriend is. I tell her it's a girl named Cassandra, then I get it from her that Gemery told her I had another girlfriend.
Stockton spat in disgust. Her mouth hung open, showing her bottom teeth. Stockton threw her cigarette, flipped open her knife, and stormed towards the headquarters barracks.
We can fix that shit right now.
Thatch grabbed the back of Stockton's collar.
Leave it be, I'm not that mad, and you shouldn't be for me. This is my bullshit.
Stockton ground her teeth.
I just can't fucking stand people treating my friends like that. And Gemery's a fucking retard. Sure, he's jacked, but have you ever had a conversation with him? The guy's a fucking dumbass. He doesn't know shit about anything that isn't the gym. Any supply. What the fuck is he ever gonna do? Fuck the both of them. You don't need that shit.
It's whatever.
Thatch lied through his smoke.
Want to get drunk and watch a movie or something?
Sure.
They went back inside, cracked open some cold ones, and put on an old horror movie. They downed 6 or 8 beers over the length of the film, but weren't even buzzed. Thatch's phone vibrated and he looked to see a text from Samum reading.
How's our way? I drink, drunk. What I do?
Thatch didn't text her back. He stared at the phone.
She told me she was at a unit function working the night.
Thatch tossed the phone to the bed.
Fuck it. Fuck her.
When the movie was over, Thatch and Stockton went back outside to smoke. Thatch grabbed his phone and went to Samum's profile page. There were a couple of new videos up. Most of them looked like her phone was just on in her pocket, but one was of her in someone's kitchen playing with a dog. The house was packed with other people. Thatch watched the video again and saw Llama in the background. He about turned the phone off for the night out of disgust, but a new video popped up. Samum wasn't at the party anymore. Or, if she was at the house, she was away from the people. She looked angry and growled into the camera.
I'm too pretty, and I'm too kind for your bullshit. If you want me out of your life, then fine. Fuck you. I'll stay out of it.
Stockton watched Thatch watch the videos. She shook her head and exhaled smoke through her nose, frustrated from not being able to put it together why Thatch cared about Samum the way he did. Thatch silently smoked a cigarette while he tried to decide what to do next. He was deploying in a week, and things were on the rocks with Samum. He didn't think he could ask her to wait for him. He figured even if he did, she would say okay, but keep going around, being a skank. He then thought about just blocking her number and keeping his door locked. But if he did that, then he'd have to find a different place to smoke, so she couldn't just look at her door and see him through the laundry room window. His phone buzzed. He got another text from her.
I'm looking for a bridge. Any suggestions?
Stockton glanced over at Thatch's phone.
Tell her there's a high one right out the north gate. There's sharp rocks at the bottom and everything.
Thatch rolled his eyes at Stockton.
Nah, I think I'm just gonna keep being a dumbass.
Stockton flicked her cigarette at the barracks and walked towards her room.
I'm done watching you hurt yourself.
Thatch brushed her comment off and walked to Samum's room. He knocked on the door, then let himself in. The room was dark except for the Christmas lights hanging from the ceiling. Samum was laying on her back in her bed, wearing only nude panties, a black bra, and a despaired look on her face.
You alright?
Thatch leaned on the wall by the bed, concerned for her. Samum held her arms up, beckoning him to her. Thatch kicked off his shoes and crawled into bed. Samum trembled. She put her head and hand on his chest and pouted.
What's wrong?
It hurt Thatch that he was so weak.
Do you think I'd be better if I had a dad?
Samum, you're responsible for yourself. You're your own person.
Thatch stroked her hair. She started sniffling and he felt her teardrops soak through his shirt. His breaths deepened and he tried not to feel as bad for her as he did, but he couldn't help it.
Llama called me a slut.
When I called you that, you got pissed off. When he did it, you cried?
Thatch decided to let her get everything off her chest and not to irritate her more than she already was.
But hey, walk like a slut, talk like a slut.
Everyone thinks I'm a whore. I just want someone who loves me for who I am. I want people to respect me. I want someone who will want me as a wife, to raise their children, to be strong and brave.
Thatch kept quiet and stroked her shoulders and hair to let her know he was there listening.
And everybody's always cheating on me. And before tonight, Llama was telling me he wanted me to move to Elysium with him because he was so in love with me.
Okay, first off, what the fuck? Secondly, I wonder if that's because they watch you run around with other men.
He kept his mouth closed, growing more irritated.
And if you and I were to ever be exclusive, one day I would find out that you were cheating on me too. And you would leave me, and I'd never know for the rest of my life why.
Thatch tried to sympathize with her, but knew no matter what he said that would be productive, she wouldn't want to hear. He wanted to tell her that maybe if she'd stick to fucking one person at a time, that she wouldn't have the problems she does. But he wasn't able to do it. The rage inside shook his body as he let her cry out. When she calmed down, Samum went to the sink and washed her face. She came back to the room, stripped naked in front of Thatch, and put on a pair of yoga pants and a t-shirt.
I'm kind of done with tonight. I'm going to go over to Misha's house and sleep there.
She threw a few things into a bag with her uniform.
Walk me to my car?
Thatch slipped his shoes on and escorted her outside. Gemery was sitting on the benches outside of the barracks. Thatch mean-mugged him as they passed. Samum popped the trunk on her little white car, threw in her bag, and opened the driver's side door. Before she sat down, Thatch asked her.
Can I get a goodnight kiss?
She promptly said,
No.
looking around. She made eye contact with Gemery, then looked back at Thatch.
Not in front of the barracks. I don't want people to think I'm a slut.
Why is it that if we're off base or locked away, you'll climb all over me, but outside the barracks, you're always fucking rude to me?
I don't want people thinking I'm running around the barracks.
Thatch gave her a look of dissatisfaction.
And you have Cassandra.
Thatch's mind exploded, and he took a deep breath in preparation to go off on her.
I'm just some chick here.
Thatch pulled out his phone and called Stockton on speakerphone. Early in the night, he changed her name in his phone to Cassandra.
What are you doing?
I'm proving to you that you're not a side chick.
A look of fear grew on Samum's face.
No.
She pressed the end button on his phone.
You don't need to do that.
Thatch pocketed his phone and stuck his index finger at her.
The reason I said I didn't want to date you wasn't because I have an actual girlfriend somewhere else. It's because even though you keep telling me that you care about me, I keep seeing you being an unscrupulous wench. Like, you're really gonna talk to me about trust after you tell me what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
Samum's face grew indignant and she stood her ground.
Well, either way, I'm too busy. I'm trying to focus on being a better Marine, and I don't have time to focus on a relationship.
I'm tired of you treating me like second best. I'm tired of you eroding my confidence away. I'm tired of you ignoring and snuffing me, and I'm tired of loving someone who refuses to fucking love me back.
He slammed his hand on the wall.
You want to be a better Marine? I am the better Marine.
Thatch lit a cigarette and stormed off back towards his barracks. Samum stood there, staring at the ground like a child who had gotten scolded, knowing she was in the wrong, but unable to admit it. Thatch walked by Gemery on his way back. Gemery smiled, waved, and tried to say,
"What's up?"
Shut up, you fucking pogue.
Thatch made it to the courtyard. Stockton, Chuck, and Mackenzie were bullshitting over cigarettes and beer. Thatch took the beer out of Stockton's hand, downing it in a gulp.
You alright, man?
Fuck do you think?
Well, you did it to yourself. I told you to stay away from her.
I told her to stay away from me.
Stockton looked at him indignantly. Thatch spotted a cooler at their feet. He kicked open the top and pulled out a fresh beer, bit a hole in the can, and chugged the beer from the side.
Let's get fucked up and die.
Fuck yeah!
Hey everybody, what's up? Thanks for listening to another chapter set of Chain Smoke Your Problems Away. I would like to thank my Patreon patrons and my YouTube members and people who have bought the War Chest, which is the box set of these books. And they come in a custom painted ammo can with, stickers and cards and a patch and all that. And I put a pin in the map for where they go. And for, all of those groups of people, I also put your name in the credits. And then I would like to thank you, random YouTube people, for sticking around and watching these. Thanks for enjoying my stories. Anyway, a few updates. This week, I should be finishing the edit for this novel. I got like 2 chapters left to work on, and one of them is pretty short, but they will be up on Patreon as soon as I get them done. And then they'll be on Audible maybe a week after that. They like to take their time uploading, and then, I still got to do a few behind the scenes things for that, mostly like pleasantries for Audible. So it might be a couple weeks before the whole thing's up there. but it should be on Audible this month. Hooray. Anyway, on book 5, I have almost all of the voices together on that. I'm still waiting on 2, I think, 3, but we should be ready to roll right into it as soon as the time comes. That is to say, I should be editing that and putting that up on Patreon also this month. It won't be on YouTube for a while, of course. I think Chain Smoke Your Problems Away is scheduled to run over here on YouTube until, I think, June. But yeah, things are moving along. Anyway, also, my next novel, 13 Short Stories Down, that is slated for release on January 31st, last Friday of the month. And I'll talk a little bit about that more as the time comes, but the ebook is up for pre-order on Amazon already. Amazon doesn't do pre-orders for paperbacks for some reason, so I did order a bunch of author's copies for myself. So I'll have signed copies of that novel that you can get early, but I'll have those up on my website instead of just on Amazon, and I'll let you all know when those are in, because I have them ordered, they're on the way, but I want to take a look at them before I actually put them up on the site, so I'm not promising you something that's misprinted or something, because you never know with these guys. But anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning in. All right, I will see you next week, and here are your bloopers. All right, ciao.
Let's do a sound check. Make sure shit's up to spec. Test out the microphone and get in the zone. Sunday afternoon crept its way to the calendar. Hell of a good start. Well, let's just do it dry, he said. Hubris. Fuck it, we'll do it live!
Cassandra Stockton, Chapter 23, Picking Up Thatch from the Airport, Take 2.
Stockton asked as she... Sorry. She was pulling out. I'm like, we're not having sex right now. All right. I mean, the only time that term is used in a sentence with Stockton's character in it. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry, burping. I guess I should get that out of my system.
Is Cassandra with them? Is Cassandra Stockton? Oh, man. I forgot. Look at the character roster again.
What's up?
Cassandra Stockton, apparently. She giggled her ass as he carried her all the way to the car.
Testing. Test.
Can't wait to see how this turns out. Stockton. No. She doesn't know my first name. Neither does the narrator.
I'd apologize and stop recording, but fuck it.
Stockton. Thatch. It's either that, or I'm going to strap you to your rack and fuck you until she's out of your system and you block that bitch's phone number. Good threat from a good friend. They pulled into... Now we're pulling into. Now I know it's not just about Stockton.
What's up?
Thatch tightened up his jacket. The air was nippy and the wind spread dustings of snow over the... You write such unique sentences sometimes. I might just leave without letting her know. God damn, what an asshole!
How are we doing this? Okay, sweet. Now you're gonna... How are we doing? Are we doing good? Are we doing good?
That's such a dick move!
All right, so chapter 23. This is Hollis reading for Samum. Let's get fucked up and die!
Can you mute your mic?
What's up?
I'm worried about feedback getting in. I'm going to read that again just for posterity's sake. Good catch. That's fair. It still felt awkward. Goddamn sex scenes.
Drunk text from Samum time!
Oh my god. Thatch pulled his hands free and stopped Samum's hips from gyrating. I was going to say grinding again.
Drunk text. Okay.
Teaches me... Gyrating? Is that like ratemyboyfriend.com?
All right, let's get fucked up and die. Oh, let's pop that. All right, what we got?
Sorry, that doesn't make any sense. David couldn't have stared down at Goliath. Goliath was Goliath. David would have stared up at Goliath even if he was staring him down. Come on.
What's up?
They went back inside, cracked open some cold ones, and put on the old horror movie. An old horror movie. The old horror movie. The old one. You know. You know the one. I love it.
Most of it was all right. Didn't really do much besides hang out with my ma. Why do I have this fucking echo?
Burp, maybe. Small burp. It hurt Thatch that he was so weak. Like, yeah, being weak does get you hurt, dumb bitch.
Take 2. Hollis reading for Samum, but you already knew that.
You are a piece of shit all on your own, baby.
Whoa, what the fuck?
This chapter's been rife with them. It's okay. It's been rife with my mistakes as well.
Samum comes in, sits on his lap.
Divide and conquer!
Whoa, what the fuck?
No. Should I move on? Does that sentence make sense? Thatch lit a cigarette and stormed off back towards the barracks. His barracks. Those are the ones. Let that sentence stand the way it is.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Stockton, saying the least helpful thing ever.
Pretty dead giveaway. Anyway, let's get fucked up and die.
Yeah, I pressed record.
Hours later, it is now drunk text time. What a shock.
Thatch spotted a cooler at their feet. Feet. Spotted a cooler at their feet.
And this concludes Crazy Bitch Theater.